everyone. Welcome to Lunchtime Topics. I'm Kate with the Creative Coast. The Creative Coast is a 501c3 nonprofit here in Savannah, Georgia, and we exist to catalyze the innovation economy in the coastal Georgia region. We host social and educational programming to help local startups and innovators connect, stay educated, and level up business. And Lunchtime Topics is one of those educational programs and currently occurs twice a month, featuring experts in their field sharing their wisdom with our community. Today, we welcome Brenden De who is going to share on marketing funnels to keep your pipeline full. He's going to show us how to create a marketing funnel that is defined for your target audience, including the phases of the marketing funnel, defining your marketing funnel, how to pivot your funnel when new platforms emerge, and how you can utilize a marketing funnel without paid ads. Brenden The Marketer is the founder of The Marketer, an online blog and resource for business owners and marketers alike. Brenden is also a paid media buyer and digital advertiser, managing over $200,000 per month in ad spend for the Big C marketing agency based out of St. Petersburg, Florida. So we are so lucky to have you here today, Brenden. Thanks for coming on to the Creative Coast Lunchtime Topics. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Caitlin. So I'm Brenden the Marketer. Today I'm speaking about marketing funnels that keep your pipeline full. This is really important for a lot of freelancers or even business owners. And I'll get into more of that information in a second, but first, some housekeeping stuff. First, you'll notice at the bottom of every slide, I have a QR code. At any point of the presentation, if you want to take your phone out and scan that QR code, it'll take you to my LinkedIn profile and we can connect. If you have any questions about the presentation afterwards, feel free to shoot me a question on LinkedIn. Or if you want me to send you the entire presentation, I can do that as well. And then another thing, I want to talk about my specific goals for this presentation. So I don't want to just ramble the whole time and give value or give information that is not of value to you. So part of my goals are to give you an actionable plan you can take after this presentation and integrate it into your own marketing and your specific marketing funnel. I also want to help you identify your specific marketing funnel. My challenge there is we're on a Zoom call and there's multiple people in here in multiple different industries. But overall, I want to give value in this presentation, and I want to keep it in front of mind to humanize your marketing, to understand it's not just vanity metrics of impressions coming through your funnel, that they're real people, and the best way to utilize a marketing funnel is to humanize your marketing. So I'll kick it off with my bio slide. So I'm Brenden the Marketer. That's my name and what I do. It doesn't say Brenden the Creative because I'm not. My career, I do paid ads for Big C. I manage over $200,000 a month in ad budget. And one of the good things about the pandemic is employers figured out that as long as you have Wi-Fi, you can pretty much work from anywhere. And that is what I've been doing for the past 8 months or so. My family, this is my fiance and my 2 dogs, Nubs and Samson. Nubs always has a ball in his mouth. You'll never find a picture or video of him without a ball in his mouth. And my home is a 38-foot travel trailer. So I live the RV lifestyle. Sometimes it's a pain in the neck and sometimes it's not. But so far it's been pretty rewarding being able to travel different places every week or every other week and seeing things. As long as we have internet, which has been a consistent headache of mine. So let's dive into marketing funnels, the importance of your marketing funnel. So like I said, part of my goals for this presentation is to get specific with your specific marketing funnel. So why you should care. If any of these pain points relate to you, or if you've ever experienced these pain points, a lot of these can be solved through your marketing funnel. So if new clients are not predictable, if ideal clients are hard to find, if you're having a lot of tough conversations with clients, a lot of times this comes in the negotiation phase of when you're talking about price or scope of work. If you find yourself having having to explain yourself quite a bit, a lot of this can be solved with your marketing funnel. If you're feeling undervalued and overworked, as freelancers, a lot of times we can be making quite a bit of money, but if you break it down by hours, and if you work 80 or 90 hours that week, you're really making like $4 an hour. So sometimes you might be feeling undervalued and overworked. And another thing is if your workflow is inconsistent. Your marketing funnel can help that if you have periods of time. A lot of times, Q1 of every year is when a lot of people outsource, and that's when a lot of freelancers are busy. In Q1, you wrap up your projects, and now you are scrambling to find your next client. So let's start with the basics of a marketing funnel. So the phases of the marketing funnel, AKA the buyer journey. So if you've ever sold anything, or even if you've even bought anything, you have gone through some sort of marketing funnel. So there's 3 basic phases of the marketing funnel. Some people will break this down into 6 phases, but just to keep it simple, we'll go with 3. So awareness, consideration, and conversion. You're in the awareness phase. The potential client finds you. They are now aware that you exist. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are interested in what you have to sell, but they know who you are and what you do and who you work with. In the consideration phase, the potential client is now showing interest, and it might not be in just you. They might be looking at your competitors or your industry. They are researching to make an educated decision on who they should work with, or even if they should work with anyone in your field. In the conversion phase, simply put, the client makes the purchase. So a little, I guess, example of a very simple marketing funnel would be if you're leaving your house, if you're going to work or to see a friend or go get food, in your neighborhood, you see 2 kids running a lemonade stand. Once you see the lemonade stand, you are now in the awareness phase because you are aware that it exists. Now you might think, ooh, lemonade, do I want some? Do I not want some, but do I want to help these kids make a sale? Is it worth my time to turn my car around to even go to the lemonade stand, or am I running late? Should I go to the lemonade stand? When you're asking yourself those questions, you're in the consideration phase of their marketing funnel. If you decide to drive your car up to the lemonade stand and make a purchase, buy the lemonade, then you are then in the conversion phase once you separate with your money. And I know that's a very simple example, but that's a good way of understanding it. Also, if you see the structure of a marketing funnel, the awareness phase is the biggest because that's where the majority of the clients will filter in, and slowly each phase more people will drop off. I'm sure we've all spoken to a lot of people, either networking or prospecting, and only a few of them or a handful of them actually become clients. So let's go into each phase of the marketing funnel. Let's get a little deeper into the marketing funnel. So on these slides, I'm going to ask some questions that can be rhetorical, or if you want, please answer them and put them in the chat. But understanding your specific marketing funnel will come through answering these types of questions to truly understand how you want to position yourself and who you want to position yourself for. So in the awareness phase, this is the first interaction someone has with your business. And we all know first impressions are important. So how do you want to come off, or what do you want to be known for? If you want to answer that question and put it in the chat, that would be great. And yeah, so in the awareness phase is actually my favorite phase. It's in my opinion, the most underrated phase because most of the time you won't see a one-to-one conversion. You'll pay money or put a lot of effort into your awareness phase and you won't see direct leads coming from it. But this is where trust and thought leadership is starting to be established. The awareness phase is also great for setting up nurturing further down the funnel. So in the pain points I mentioned earlier, if you're having tough conversations with clients, in the awareness phase is where you can address those conversations or those objections because you're getting in front of it. Your people who are in your awareness phase are now qualifying themselves. So they know who you work with, what type of budgets you work with, and who you do best work for. So what do you want to be known for? I want to be known as an agency who puts their clients first. I want to be known for transparency and results. Right, perfect. So now we move into the consideration phase. So in the consideration phase, the lead is now more aware and they're more qualified because they know you exist and now they're really looking into the benefits of working with you. So the lead is researching your services and industry. Like I said, they most likely won't only be researching your business. They are likely on your competitors' websites, and it's important to understand how do you separate yourself from your competitors in this phase. This is a lot of where that messaging comes in. So the lead understands the benefits of paying you and you specifically. You might be the cheapest, you might not be the cheapest. You might be the quickest, you might not be the quickest. You might charge a premium price for a premium product. In the consideration phase, your lead or prospect should understand this about you and the benefits of working with you specifically. So what do you want your audience to know? This could be your past accomplishments, past clients you've worked with, past work that you've put out, websites you launched, logos you've created. This could also be common misconceptions of your industry. When I was freelancing a lot of people would reach out to me for social media help. And what I found is really, they assumed they needed a social media manager, but really they just wanted leads, which I could have accomplished for them with lead generation or paid ads. So a lot of times there's a big misconception, and it's a great topic to write a blog on or to educate your audience with. So what do you want your audience to know about you? If you want to also answer this question in the chat, I'll take a quick break for water. And like I said, answering these questions, whether you answer them now or take them back alone and answer them independently later, these will help you identify your specific marketing funnel. So I want them to hear directly from other clients about their experience. Yeah, that's perfect. So having testimonials or that social proof on your website can really help make the decision when the lead's in the consideration phase. So now the last phase is the conversion phase. So this is the most overrated phase, but it's also justifiably so. This is where a lot of companies make a lot of money. In the ad campaigns we run with conversion campaigns, these are the ones that bring in the sales. So it's easy for top level executives to look at all of our campaigns and cut the awareness phase campaigns and boost the conversion campaigns. But like I said, I love the awareness phase because that's where you're getting the new eyes on your business, and they'll slowly filter in, which will feed your conversion phase campaign. Anyways, what the conversion phase does, the leads from the previous phases are now ready to buy. The lead feels educated on your services. They might not feel necessarily like an expert, but they feel that they're confident enough with your ability to teach them and give them the results they're looking for. The lead understands why you are the best option compared to your competitors. So this is where your unique value proposition comes in of what separates you apart. Simply put, in the consideration phase, you might have sent a proposal. They are probably looking at that proposal and comparing it to your competitors. And once they send the email back to you saying, we're ready to move forward, they are now in the conversion phase and ready to buy. So a question to ask yourself or put in the chat or take it back later. What can you give to your client? So this is very white and black with just what are your services and how does this separate you from your competitors? Why should the lead separate with their money for you specifically? Hey, Margot, I saw your question in the chat. Yeah, I believe the recording of this webinar will be shared after. But if not, like I said, I have my QR code at the bottom of the screen, and I can send you the whole slide deck after the presentation. That goes for anyone else who's interested in it. All right, let's move on to the real world example. So I talked about marketing funnels, the phases of the marketing funnel, and I gave a really silly example of lemonade. So let's talk about real world examples of where you see these phases really exist. I put a little joke in here of 7 strangers picked to live in a house. Real world, some people told me to take it out. Some people told me to leave it in. I say, let it ride. So the real world examples I'm going to go with here are, for awareness, is Coke and Pepsi, consideration, Amazon, and conversion, Walmart and Target are the big box retailers. So the cola wars, everyone is familiar with Coke and Pepsi, whether you drink them or not, you see them everywhere. Product placement in stadiums, commercials. They are pretty much everywhere you look. And I think we can all agree that there is pretty much one winner here in the cola wars. But let's talk about their marketing campaign. So they live in the awareness phase. They just want to remind you all the time that they exist and hopefully stay top of mind. So eventually you are craving the soda. So if we see with Coke, it says open a Coke, open happiness. So basically they're saying you can replace a Coke with happiness. So when you want to feel happy, you want a Coke. And also Coke is really known for their imagery of their bubbles to try to give you that feel of the little tingle in the back of your throat when you drink a Coke. So Coke is relating to happiness. They're relating to an emotion. Now, Pepsi uses more blue colors, which usually feels a little colder. So this ad says refresh your world. You see the condensation on the can. They're trying to make you feel like if you want a nice, cold, refreshing beverage, Pepsi is the one for you. So Amazon basically lives in the consideration phase, and they're really good at converting too. They have sales, 2-day shipping, it's relatively cheaply priced. But let's say Amazon that I want, Halloween's in like a week or less than a week. I want a Halloween costume, but I don't know what I want to be. So on Amazon, I can search men's Halloween costume. In the consideration phase, I'm trying to research my options and see which one's right for me. I found a Top Gun suit, a product. It's a little pricey. And when I look at the reviews, I'm seeing some bad reviews. Also, Amazon, I'm seeing images of people who actually bought it, so I can see what it looks like on a real person and not a 6'4" model that I'm definitely not. And then if I kind of like the costume, but I'm not too sure about it specifically, Amazon also shows related items. So I found one that looks exactly like the one I just was looking at, and it's 1/3 of the price. And it looks like it has better reviews too. And I'll continue my consideration or my search with the related items and moving forward. Now, big box retailers, they live in the conversion phase. So really what this is when you're in the store, when you go to Walmart or Target, you are ready to convert. A lot of times we go to these stores to buy one specific thing. And a lot of times we leave with more things than we intended to buy. So Walmart has sales like Black Friday. You go in on Black Friday and they have everything really cheap. They're ready to convert you on the spot because they set urgency that it's Black Friday only. Now, as the years progressed, they have extended that sale throughout the weekend. And then even that Monday, they have this Cyber Monday sale. But they're promoting big in-store sales. So when you go and you see a deal, you convert on the spot. Now, the same with Target. You're walking around Target for whatever you need, and now you see buy one, get one free all of a sudden. So it's an ad or some products that you might have not thought you needed, but now you're looking at it and you're considering, maybe, is that a good deal? Maybe I do need some playing cards. Maybe this would be a good gift for Christmas or a birthday, or just to have extra fun around the house. So big box retailers live in the conversion phase, because if you think about it, in the conversion phase, the messaging is right now is the best time to buy. So that's what you want to say in your messaging when you're in your conversion phase or working on that phase of your funnel. Now, I don't know if anyone here is religious. In my household, we celebrate TOYOTATHON. TOYOTATHON is a year-end sales event for Toyota. All the other car manufacturers also have their variation of it. So if you're fortunate enough to wait till the end of the year to buy a new car, if your new car doesn't just break down on you, TOYOTATHON is a great time to wait to then get the savings. A lot of times they're just trying to bring you in the store, and then you see these fancy ads with low numbers and they have to break the news to you in person that those numbers aren't accurate. So you'll see cheapest financing, 0% APR financing for a Camry. There's a lot of fine print on that ad as well, and I'm assuming that says it's not actually 0%. And then you can see low price and incentives. So this next ad says basically $200 a month for the Corolla hybrid. It also says we make it easy. They're trying to streamline the buying process, the conversion phase. And it also says $2,500 factory cash back. I don't even know what that means, but at $2,500, I want it. So TOYOTATHON is really trying to get you to convert on the spot. If you need a car, right now is the best time to buy. So like I said, one of my goals for this presentation is to help you define your specific marketing funnel. And my challenge with that is that there's so many people on this call, and it's very hard to get specific with each person. Everyone's in different industries, and even the same industries, there's different ways to separate yourself and have different marketing funnels. So how we can do this is answer a series of questions of past clients or potential future clients that you want to work with. So if you have worked with past clients, it's great to break down your ideal clients versus your not so ideal clients. A lot of times as freelancers, we usually work with the not so ideal clients. So it's good to understand, how did they find you? How do they treat you? How much do they pay you? And do you enjoy the work they request? So if you want to leave in the chat, how did they find you in your past clients? Was it word of mouth? Was it a referral? Was it the contact form on your website? How did your past clients find you? Now, I can give a decent example here of how much do they pay you versus how do they treat you, or do you enjoy the work they request? Obviously, we would love to get paid a good amount of money for the work we love. But sometimes it makes sense to take a small pay cut. For example, a lot of tattoo artists will be willing to take a small pay cut to tattoo their original artwork, because they know if they post that original artwork, they will get it back in their DMs or messages saying, hey, can you do this on me? Because they know the more they put out is what they'll get back. So referrals, word of mouth referrals, a lot of times as freelancer, that is the biggest source of new clients. Referrals or word of mouth from past clients is a great way of establishing trust immediately. Now, if you haven't worked with clients in the past and you're looking to kind of grow your business, now you can kind of think in the future tense, how do you want them to find you? So the same questions, but future tense. How do you want them to find you? How do you want to make your first impression? What do you want to be known for? Those types of questions. How do you want to be treated? How much do you want to get paid? And what type of work do you want to do? Maybe there's an industry you want to branch out into, and that might be a situation where you're willing to do pro bono work just to get your foot in the door. Obviously, it's looked down upon as freelancers to do pro bono, but sometimes it does make sense, and you have to weigh your options. Now, we're going to take a quick little meme break. I'm sure we've all been in a situation like this as freelancers, that this is an unpaid gig, but it'll be great exposure for you. And you say, well, that's great. My rent is actually 800 exposures. I'm sure we get this a lot, and a lot of people undervalue us. And usually we want to stay away from those types of people. They are labeled as our not so ideal clients. So your marketing funnel. So AKA your buyer journey, how people find you and filter down to become clients. So these are more questions you can ask. Feel free to answer these in the chat or take them back home later to answer in private. It is important to identify each of your phases so you can then position yourself in right messaging for each phase. So how do you want clients to discover you? What do you want to be noticed for? A lot of times we can have marketing strategies where we are doing kind of the guerrilla marketing style and trying to get in front of the right people and show that we got some moxie, where we can really set ourselves apart. Now, consideration. What do you wish your clients knew before you work with them? This goes back to what are your past accomplishments, your awards, your achievements. common misconceptions in your industry you want to blog about to educate them. Because if you're having to explain yourself with each client over and over again about the process, maybe that's potential for writing a blog article or an educational post to help qualify your leads a little better. So you're speaking to more qualified leads when they come in to your conversion phase. Now, your conversion phase. Simply put, how do you streamline the buying process? What are some tough conversations, situations, or objections you've had in the past? So by this point of your funnel, they are aware of you, they have considered working with you, and they've reached out, and now you have to sell them. So what are the common objections you've had in the past? If you want to leave that in the chat below, this is really great to understand how your clients think. So if you are speaking and negotiating to a client, and you can tell they might have an objection. Maybe it's about price. Maybe you can tell they're not too sure about the price or the scope of work or the timeline. It's important if you can get in front of those objections before they even ask, because this will make your lead or your client feel heard and understood and help them make their buying decision for conversion. So what are some objections you've dealt with in the past with past clients? Too costly and too slow. For small businesses, it's always been price. They typically have low budgets and big goals. That's completely true, and that everyone's pretty much saying budget, and that's a big issue. A lot of business owners, small business owners that work with freelancers usually don't have big budgets. You know, obviously they are ambitious. They're business owners. They want everyone in the world to have eyes on their business. But the reality of it is ad prices increase every day, more competition. Same with any marketing or getting marketing done right. We see a lot of business owners try to do it themselves or outsource to their niece or nephew for free. And the quality of their marketing suffers because of that. But sometimes if you get in front of that, answer every type of question they would have about budget or objections before they've asked, it will really help them really help persuade them to make the sale or to sign on as a client. Lauren says, uphill battle from companies in the past have been burned out by other marketers. I actually find this very common. A lot of marketers, not that they don't want to be honest, but it's hard to break bad news to clients or tell them, you know, the campaign we worked so hard on isn't performing well and we should pivot. A lot of times we get stuck and no one wants to admit fault. And I see that a lot with clients coming to us and talking about how other marketing companies did not give them the results they want. A lot of that comes in with level setting and explaining their goals might be a little too ambitious for their budget. But having those conversations or getting in front of them is really helpful in closing the sale. So who exactly are your ideal clients? So we identified our marketing funnel, the phases, how to position each phase and what they are about. But now we don't want to put any money into our funnel or time or effort if we are targeting our non-ideal clients. So who are our ideal clients? So I asked a lot of rhetorical questions that you didn't have to answer, and I'm really appreciative of everyone who's answering them in the chat right now. But this next slide I'm about to show you is about 20 questions of pretty personal questions for your buyer persona, so you can get a better understanding of who they are and what they're really looking for. So please take your phone out, take a picture of this slide, screenshot it. If you want after this presentation to reach out to me on LinkedIn, like I said, I can send you the whole pitch deck so you can see these questions later and take them and kind of think more about your answers for them. So a lot of times you might have a target audience of men and women between the ages of 45 and 60 who have the job titles of director, CEO, or executive in the tech industry. And that's a very broad target audience. If you want to get more personalized and actually attract those ideal clients, you have to ask these questions. So for example, what keeps your perfect customer awake at night? So this has really nothing to do with their job, or it might, but understanding this and putting this into your messaging will help your ideal clients read, in your consideration phase, your awareness phase, read your content, understand what you're about, and they will feel like you're speaking directly to them. What does your perfect customer want more than anything else? A lot of times at Big C, we work with CMOs, and what they want more than anything else is to appear good to their bosses, the CEO, the CFO. They outsource to us as a marketing agency, and we want to do good work for them to make them look good in front of their bosses. So like I said, take a picture of this. I'll give one more second to everyone take a picture. Like I said, if you don't have a phone, if you don't want to take the picture, you can reach out to me after the presentation and I can send this all to you. But it's really important to truly understand who your ideal clients are and what they want more than anything else. So how to utilize a marketing funnel with paid ads. So simply put, you use all your money. This costs a lot of money. In your awareness phase, you just flood it with ads. In your consideration phase, ads. Conversion phase, ads. You just flood the market with paid ads on all your phases. You reach the right people. You get a lot of eyes on your business, and you start getting a lot of sales. That's obviously a joke. I could just tell you all to start life over again and this time be rich. So it's not reasonable for every business to be able to utilize paid ads in their marketing funnel. So I wanted to be a little bit more specific to how to utilize a marketing funnel without paid ads. So this works just as well. I want to be very clear, even though this doesn't have to cost money, it does cost your time. So nothing is free in this section of using a marketing funnel without paid ads. You have to do a lot of legwork here. So, and I want to be very clear that this is just an example of how to utilize a marketing funnel with paid ads using the basic pillars of marketing, which are networking, content, and direct outreach. But you could move these pillars throughout the different phases. For a lot of creatives, it makes sense for your awareness phase to have content in it. So I'm just going to go through this one specific example. It doesn't necessarily apply to everyone here, but you can kind of swap out these pillars for your phases, specifically of how they work with your business. So in your awareness phase, you could meet a lot of people or get people aware of you through networking or conferences. I'm sure we've all been to networking events where a lot of people kind of feel like sharks. They're just waiting for you to stop talking so they can start talking. Everyone is trying to sell everyone on everything. When I go to networking events, and to be honest, I haven't been to one for a while, I just have the objective of meeting as many people as I can, passing out my business card, and simply put, telling them who I am, what I do, and who I do it for. I give them my card. They can reach out to me later if they're interested, if they have a referral, or if they just want to connect. I also want to get to know them, but really I just want to know who they are, what they do, and who they do it for. I want their contact information, and I want to move on. And that actually going in with that mindset makes me a lot less anxious when I go to networking events, and it's pretty effective. Then moving on in your consideration phase is content. So everyone knows we have to post on social, we have to post blog posts, but it's easier said than done. As freelancers, we might be so busy all week that we don't have time to do this, and that's perfectly understandable. A good tip is that you don't have to have separate social media accounts for your business or for your freelance services. Using your personal Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn is perfect enough to educate your friends and family on what you do, who you do it for. I can't say how many times in the past I've gotten referrals from friends. Actually, I don't think I've ever gotten referrals from family. They're not really in the sector of working with businesses, but I do get a lot of referrals from friends, people that from high school that I hardly ever talk to now say, hey, I know, or my dad's starting a business and he wants to work with you, or I told him he should reach out. I get a lot of that. Now, it's easier said than done for content to post, but like I said, in your consideration phase, it's good to post past work, maybe a misconception you had in the business. Just LinkedIn is really great for text posts. There's a lot of ways of doing this without really using up all your time. So how you want to educate your audience. Now, conversion phase is direct outreach. I really want to stress this should not be automated. I'm sure if anyone here has had a LinkedIn account for longer than an hour, they've gotten automated messaging that says, just really ingenuine or inauthentic messaging that goes a little bit further to say, like, I don't really care what you have to say. I'm just trying to get as many responses as possible, and those don't work. But what works and what usually gets a response is a sincere message to one person that they can tell it's a real message. We've had a lot of success with open rates of just natural and authentic messaging through LinkedIn. All right, Lauren's got to jump. Thank you, Lauren, for coming. So for instance, let's say you went to a networking event and you met someone, gave them your card, and you connected on LinkedIn afterwards. On LinkedIn, you've been posting content or blogs about different things in your industry. This could be past work, past clients, misconceptions, past awards. You are seeing that person you met at the networking event engaging with your posts. They might be commenting, they might just be liking it. Maybe it's time to send them a direct outreach and say, hey, we met at this networking event. I see you've been engaging with my posts. Are you interested in learning more about what I do? And they might not be, they might just be being nice, but there's a chance maybe they're interested or a buddy of theirs is interested, and it's good to start that conversation. The worst that can happen is you just put yourself at the top of their list of thinking of people to maybe pass referrals to. Like I said, I want to be very clear that this is just one example of utilizing a marketing funnel without paid ads. You can interchange these pillars. You can do content as the awareness. You can attend conferences or speak at conferences for your consideration phase, and then your conversion phase can be direct outreach. The more personal you get, the better. Now, we might be feeling a little overwhelmed here, so let's make it a little more bite-sized. So everyone on your screen right now, or just watching your computer, if we want to take a quick break of doing just one big inhale and outhale to try to get a little less overwhelmed. So I'm just going to breathe in and breathe out. Sounds kind of lame, but it's always helped. And it's so great how that makes you feel after you just take one deep breath and take a second to stop. So let's make it a little bit more bite-sized. I just threw a lot of content out at you. Thank you, Adriana. So I threw a lot of content out at you, and obviously we all know we have to be blog posting and content and networking and outreach, but where do we get the time in the day to do this? And one of the biggest pain points is inconsistency in workflow. So if you're loaded with projects and your head's down doing these projects, you're most likely neglecting your marketing. Once you wrap up the projects, once you launch the websites, now you have no clients in the pipeline and you don't know what to do. So with every life improvement, it comes in the form of a routine. You can't work out once, or you can't eat healthy once and expect to be healthy your whole life. I probably shouldn't be talking about that. I never work out. But what I do is I do set off time specifically for my marketing funnel. So some advice or a quick tip is to set a quick 10, 20, or 30-minute block on your calendar Monday through Friday. This could be right before you clock in for the day. It could be at lunch break or right before you leave for the day. Just a quick reminder of maybe work on networking, find a networking event to attend, create content. Like I said, LinkedIn is really great for just text posts that don't necessarily have pictures or images. A lot of times you can get a lot of engagement on a text post on LinkedIn, which can take 10 minutes to pump out. Or you can reach out to a prospect. It takes like a second. It's like texting someone of sending a message of, hey, we should continue the conversation about whatever you spoke about before or the past content they've engaged with. All you need is 10, 20, or 30 minutes. Obviously, like I said, using a marketing funnel costs your time. So the more time you put in, the more people you'll get out of it. Also, another tip, and this is what I do personally, I block off an entire day. At Big C, we have Focus Fridays where we don't schedule any meetings on Fridays, and we can kind of put our heads down and get to work on things that we need to finish up by the end of the week, or we have time to reach out to prospects. It's really effective. And I understand that not everyone here can block off an entire day. So blocking off a 10-minute spot Monday through Friday is really effective. And it's good to make it a routine. So now you might be saying, Brenden, I know all this. Why are you saying this? I've been freelancing for years. I do very well getting clients. So if you're underwhelmed with this presentation, we can make it a little bit more complicated. So when should you take your funnel to the next level? And to reiterate who I am and what I do, I manage a lot of paid ad campaigns for various industries and a lot of different clients. So when are you ready for paid ads? Basically, paid ads will help your marketing funnel attract more people in the awareness phase and filter them through. It's just an easier way of reaching more people. So if you ever ask me or any other marketer, when are you ready for paid ads? This is kind of the process or the timeline I would suggest. So I wouldn't suggest going straight to paid ads if you are not already on social in some capacity. This doesn't have to be Instagram or Facebook. It could be LinkedIn. It could be even Reddit or any social platform that makes it really easy to post. So if you're posting organically on social, then maybe it's time to step into SEO or search engine optimization. If you have a website for your business, this is basically just blog articles. You can then be found organically in Google search. This is a very powerful tool for getting organic traffic to your site. If each of your posts have a clear call to action at the end of them, you'll see a lot of people filter in to your funnel. If they found you on Google for the first time, they are now in your awareness phase and they are considering, once they're reading your blog article. Now, if you have been consistently posting on organic social and you have been posting blog articles, it may be a little inconsistent, but you have been posting, maybe it's time to step into some paid ads with paid social. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, they make it really easy to just boost a post. A lot of times I wouldn't recommend that because you lose a lot of the features you can have on the back end with posts, but they make it really simple. If you have a good post that has a lot of engagement, if you put some money behind it, you can reach a bigger audience. This expands your brand awareness. So now if you've been doing organic social, SEO, and now you're in paid social, maybe the next step is paid search. So paid search is great for reaching people with high intent because they're typing into Google, specifically working with a freelancer or a company like you, and that is your chance to present your unique value proposition, why it's important to work with you instead of your competitors. So paid search is search engine ads on Google. If you type in anything, you'll see an ad as usually the first 2 or 3 spots on your search results. So if you've been doing all 4 of those, the next step would be display ads. This is TV ads, billboards. Ironically, display ads cost the most and they live in the awareness phase. But like we saw with Coke and Pepsi, they love this phase. And I don't think Coke or Pepsi are going under anytime soon. I may be watching this presentation back in a couple of years and regret that I said that. But this is kind of the timeline of when you are ready for paid ads. So if you did have $1, where should you spend it? So one of my goals for this presentation is to be very specific with your marketing funnel, and that's very hard for me to do. If someone asks me, how much do ads cost? I can never give a straight answer because there really isn't one. Ads cost differently depending on platform, industry, even location of where you're at. But what I would suggest is if you are getting into paid ads, to have a monthly budget you are willing to stick to. I would not suggest running an ad campaign for a week or 2 weeks and seeing less than stellar results and then cutting the campaign. It should be an investment that you make every month if you are ready. So I wouldn't start paid ads until you're ready to consistently invest that ad budget. And you can start small or you can go all in. So another recommendation is if you do start an ad campaign, I would create an ad campaign for one specific phase of your funnel. If you have enough money to create separate campaigns for each phase, that would be ideal. But you could, for instance, set an ad campaign for your awareness and then use content, networking, and outreach in your consideration and conversion phase to kind of fill that gap. So on this slide, if you want to take a picture of this slide, this is actually a pretty valuable slide. Or like I said, my QR code's at the bottom. I can send this to you after the presentation. I put check marks by different channels within each phase. If you see SEO, SEM, and paid social are within all three, and this is usually the paid media or digital advertising is really where I live every day. And it's the easiest way to reach your audience. This is where the attention is at. Everyone's online. We are all online right now. So how to pivot your funnel when new platforms emerge. So maybe I gave you a great idea of how to utilize a marketing funnel without paid ads, and you're putting in a lot of time, maybe 30 minutes a day in prospecting, and you're getting a lot of results, a lot of people. You're getting a lot of people on the phone and a lot of people moving into that conversion phase. But every approach will eventually become less effective over time. This is especially true with the internet. A year now is basically a decade because new platforms come and go and people change their attention. So if the goal of marketing is to get you noticed, you should jump on new platforms as soon as they come out. The biggest tip here is to teach yourself to be an early adopter. Again, this is easier said than done. I am naturally not an early adopter, but what this means is once you hear about a new platform or a new website or a new feature within a platform, it's important to play around on it as soon as you hear about it. You don't necessarily have to make an account, but just familiarize yourself with the new platform or feature. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but it's very important that you get ahead of the curve before your competitors. Now, once you're playing with it and kind of understanding how it works, you should decide if your audience uses that platform or is there a way to reach your audience. For example, we just had a meeting with TikTok like 2 weeks ago, and they said, of course, their age range on that app from 13 to 24 is their biggest demographic, but their age range from 45 to 55 is steadily growing every day. So if your audience doesn't use the platform right now, could they use it in the future? If there's less people in your space posting on an app, there's more opportunity to grow following on that app, which will then help you convert them. So once you have played around and you think you might like a new platform, you should decide which phase of the funnel the new platform belongs. So if the platform or feature helps you curate people you've already known and bring them into one place, that would probably live in your conversion phase of your funnel. Apps like Instagram can actually live in all three. People might find you through a hashtag. They might follow your posts and see your stories and get a little bit more educated on who you are and what you do. And then they might send you a DM or a message asking to work with you. So apps like that can live in all three phases. So if you're playing on these apps and you think you might like it and you are seeing some traction and speaking to people and humanizing your marketing, making sure that you're keeping that human connection front of mind, when should you abandon ship? I would just say when the platform doesn't feel right. It might feel like a chore, and sometimes that's good if you are getting impressions, but with as freelancers who are consistently busy all the time, it's not important to be on every platform. You should just be on a few platforms that are really getting you the best results. But what I really want to clarify here is that it's important to jump on new platforms because that might be the new platform you want to use. For example, a lot of these platforms, they have two phases. The one is user acquisition. They want as many people on the platform as possible. And then their second phase is monetization. They want to then tell advertisers, we have so many people on this platform, you should advertise with us. So these platforms have algorithms in the early phases that will boost your content to more people. The idea here is if you get a lot of likes and comments on your post, you will be incentivized to keep using the app. So using new platforms or features, for example, even Instagram launched a competitor to TikTok called Reels. I don't think they're winning that battle, but me and my fiance posted a reel a week ago. We don't have a lot of followers, but we got 1,000 views within 15 minutes. And it's not because the content was good, it's just because the Reels is trying to send it to as many people as possible because there's less competition and they want to incentivize us to keep posting. Now, this won't happen forever. Once there's enough people on the platform, it's hard to grow a following. This is really true with YouTube or even Instagram now. There's so many people on the app, it's hard to kind of break through. Now, I want to draw a little attention to this little graveyard I made of past social media apps like MySpace, Vine, Google+, everyone remembers Google+, Vero, which a lot of people don't even remember, Friendster. And then we have a hearse-carrying Clubhouse and Facebook. A lot of people say Facebook is dying. It's still pretty much alive right now, but we are seeing some signs of it losing some interest. I don't know how you feel about Clubhouse. That was like all the rage like a year ago. If you look at their Google Trends, hardly anyone speaks about Clubhouse anymore. I guess in the chat, tell me, have you heard of Clubhouse? Do you use it? Do you think that it's not dying? What are your thoughts on Clubhouse? Or have you ever heard of it? Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like exclusive. It was invite only, made you feel really cool to join. And then when you got there, it wasn't all that cool. Yeah. All right, so marketing funnels, let's recap. I know I went through a lot of content in this presentation. So the phases of the marketing funnel, I hope everyone can leave here today telling me the 3 phases of the marketing funnel. My fiance can, and I think she hates me for it. So it's awareness, consideration, and conversion. Now, to define your specific marketing funnel comes with a lot of rhetorical questions of understanding your past clients, how you want to work with future clients, your work, how to position yourself, all of the questions I mentioned. Like I said, my QR code's at the bottom of the screen. If you want those questions again, I can send you this deck and you can look at it later and identify your specific funnel. How to utilize a marketing funnel without paid ads. Again, I want to say that it's not exactly free. You are still using your time, but this comes with the basic pillars of marketing, which are networking, creating content, and direct outreach. You can also utilize a marketing funnel with paid ads. This can be expensive. It does work. It gets in front of a lot of people and slowly they'll come through your funnel. Now, how to pivot your funnel when new platforms emerge. The biggest thing here is try to teach yourself to be an early adopter and play with new platforms that come out. Download apps as soon as you hear about them, see what all the hype is about, and try to see if this fits in your funnel and how you can properly utilize it. So now for the fun part, connecting on LinkedIn. So this is the biggest call to action of this presentation. My QR code is at the bottom of the screen, but if you were too involved with the content of the presentation, now is a great time to take your phone out and connect with me on LinkedIn. If you don't have questions now, maybe later we can talk more about your specific funnel, and I can give you some great ideas on how to, I can actually fulfill my goal of being specific to your marketing funnel. So I'll give you guys a quick second to scan that QR code. If you just open up the camera on your phone, it'll take you right to LinkedIn.